Hey guys, Zen here, and one of the biggest issues for Rainbow Six Siege on console is actually keyboard and mouse use. I think at this point we can all agree that there is clearly an advantage in using a keyboard and mouse versus a controller, especially when you're talking about first-person shooters. But in Siege specifically, it's even more of an issue because this game has absolutely no aim assist. So controller players are left to deal with raw inputs, and compared to a keyboard and mouse combo, it just doesn't stack up in really any way. I think we're getting to the point where everyone from players to developers are starting to understand this problem, and that for the most part, it's almost impossible to create a fair and balanced competitive experience when a large portion of your players are using a keyboard and mouse on console. Now, recently, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, announced native keyboard and mouse support coming to the platform. But don't just take my word for it, hear him say it for yourself.
We need to do something big, so what can you tell me?
Yeah, one of the things that I've talked about for quite a while, and I get a knock on Twitter every so often of, hey, when is this actually happening, is mouse and keyboard support on Xbox. And I'm proud to announce that's coming. And it's going to be in preview in October. We're going to be partnering with Warframe to be our first game to help us test this. And get feedback from customers on how it works.
Now, it's important to note that he mentions it will start by being available in Warframe and it'll continue to roll out over time. Now, of course, there is the argument that if Xbox does add this feature, well, it could actually promote even more imbalance because you're allowing there to be a mixed pool of controller and mouse players in the same lobbies. But they want to make it known that this is entirely up to the developer. This is not being forced onto anyone. If you're someone who is currently comfortable playing with a controller, well, that's not going to change. You will always have that ability. This is more about choice. This is giving you the option should you want to utilize it.
Now I want to make sure, because I'm always having to explain this mouse and keyboard support, like why are we doing this and are we going to mess up everybody's multiplayer sessions today?
Yeah, what about my matchmaking?
That's
right.
right.
I need to know.
So these are tools for developers. We're not going to force mouse and keyboard support on a game that wasn't designed for it. Like the developer owns the creative vision for their game. And if their game is a controller only game and that's the way they want it to work, great. Love that. No issue there at all. So you shouldn't expect that every game on the platform now supports mouse and keyboard. You know, if the game was originally designed as a controller-only game, that's the way the game works. And your experience as a player is going to be exactly what you had yesterday. It'll be the same tomorrow. It is really about developer choice and the creative things that they can do on our platform.
Now, the biggest reason I wanted to make this video was because I genuinely feel like Ubisoft should add mouse and keyboard support to Rainbow Six Siege on console. I've said this in the past, but I feel as though this game is explicitly created with mouse and keyboard in mind. It plays better and feels better, and best of all, you console players would, in theory, finally be able to pre-lean, or lean without aiming down sight. This is a core feature of the game that is absent from console, mainly because there aren't enough buttons to do it. Literally every single button on the controller is used in Siege, so I would imagine if Ubisoft were to add this ability, they'd also add pre-lean with this support. The one big thing to remember here is that this is currently a feature that only Xbox is implementing. Sony and the PS4 have yet to announce any sort of native keyboard and mouse support. Now, Siege is a cross-platform game, and I couldn't imagine Ubisoft adding this feature to Xbox and not the PS4. But recently, Sony did agree to cross-platform play in some other games, so it might not be long before they catch up with keyboard and mouse support. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and this is all hypothetically speaking, but if Ubisoft does add mouse and keyboard support to Rainbow Six Siege on console, you controller players may seriously need to think about getting familiar with it. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't those of you out there that are controller gods, but you will be at a major disadvantage, even at a gameplay standpoint, if you continue to compete with the controller. On PC, there is almost no controller player population, and that's not because the game doesn't support it, it's because you cannot be super competitive with one. Even if you are, you give yourself a major disadvantage if for no other reason than you can't pre-lean. So this is actually pretty huge news, and it's something I definitely wanted to talk about and bring to light, because I know there are a lot of you out there who really want to see this kind of support for Rainbow Six. And of course, there are those of you out there who are already doing it, so now you'll actually be in the clear if Ubisoft were to officially add this feature. But what do you guys think? Should Ubisoft add native keyboard and mouse support to the consoles for Rainbow Six Siege? Do you think it could ever be a balanced experience with all the controller players already out there? Let me know everything down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.